Welcome to Comic Book Corner. I'm Dan Delatorre. Thanks for joining us this evening. While the holidays are right around the corner and the end of the year is very, very close, obviously, and also towards finally with the Hollywood strike that seemed to last forever, that's finally over. The MCU and the DCU are sort of retooling and gearing up for well, they'll try to do the best they can with what they have next year, but everything is pushed back, so we're just going to have to be patient. But I thought this would be a good time to profile some of the other elements, as we comic collectors love to do, and that is the cons themselves. In particular, the fan expos. I had the pleasure of being at the San Francisco Fan Expo this past weekend or the weekend before with my daughter. I love taking my kids to these expos because they get to see all the celebrities that they hear and they interact with, and even on the video game screens, which has also become very, very popular. And for those who've never really gone and spent much time with this sort of element, because it can be a bit pricey, but it's certainly worth it. I simply wanted to walk through my experience with this particular expo. We had the best time I'd had in a long, long time, and I wanted to again just do a step by step and show you who I talked to, who we met, and all the other things that came into place here, all because we decided to look into sort of the background of some of these people. So let's begin right here with the first person that we had seen, and that would be this gentleman here. This is, if you don't recognize this gentleman's face, you would recognize his voice. This is Najee, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Najee Jeter. He is the voice of Miles Morales in the Spider-Man video game. That game is extremely popular, but when I met this gentleman, he not only does he have the voice, but he has the face and the persona, and he is a perfect model for a future Miles Morales in the MCU. In fact, I told him so. I would like to start right now, if we can, on this little show, if a little campaign to get him on the big screen, because the MCU, I think, has taken way too long to introduce the Miles character. They have it right here. This guy is absolutely perfect. He has the build for it. He has the charisma. And again, he is a known commodity with the character on that very, very popular video game. Wouldn't have known this had I not gone to this con, and he was just a real delight. So again, that's my first and only pick at this point for a Miles Morales character in the MCU. So stay tuned. Maybe we get some traction with this guy. Next person that we'd seen was this gentleman here. If you don't recognize him, and I didn't either, his name is Tony Todd. He's been an actor for a long, long time. He has appeared in a few Star Trek episodes. One, Deep Space Nine. He was the son. He's been on a few of those episodes. Here he plays the son of Ben Sisko. It was a very moving performance by Mr. Todd and by Avery Brooks, who plays Captain Sisko. He also played in the Next Generation, Worf's brother, Kor, I think his name was. Just a great actor. But one of the things I learned about this gentleman was that he has a deep, rich background in acting. But you may recognize him again back to the video game genre. He plays, speaking of Miles Morales, he plays the voice of Venom. He's got this very deep, prominent voice. He's very tall and slender. But for those people who love the video game world with this particular game, rather, and I'm a video game player, most people don't put the face to the voice. I just thought you would appreciate that, because that video game is so popular. The more I talk to so many people, they love this game. I have yet to play. I don't own a PlayStation. That's why this game is a PlayStation indigenous game. So my daughters play it religiously. They wanted to meet this man, but I recognize him as a Star Trek fan with those other roles that he played. My daughter had ran into this person here. I'm not a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't think I've ever seen an episode. I might have seen bits and pieces of one. But this particular actor here, his name is James Marster. And he's 50 years old. He is extremely popular. He's a well diverse actor. I knew very little actually I knew nothing about him. I've seen the image of this person in passing. But as we talked to him, he has great depth in acting. He is extremely professional, extremely intelligent. These are the kind of things you would see behind the scenes by going to these fan expos, meeting these people up close and personal. He couldn't have been nicer. Most of the people that we talked to couldn't have been nicer. They're absolutely a delight to deal with. And he's made one brief appearance in an MCU show, and I forget what it was. It was probably something on Disney Plus. I don't think was all that prominent, but that is a dynamite actor, and I hope he goes farther than he is, especially in the MCU. Another actress who I was very taken with, by the way, is this woman here. Her name is Tara Stone. She's an absolutely beautiful woman, without question. She's this as pretty as she is in this picture. She's far more beautiful in person. She is absolutely a lovely woman. Now, why do I bring her up? She does lots of voice actors. She has done Miss Minutes from the Loki show. That was Miss Minutes herself. Look at her in the ready to behind the microphone. She did a wonderful job with that. But she also did another character that I really loved, and that was Raven from the Teen Titans. So again, she's very, very, very diverse, and just pleasant people. It's really, it sort of makes a connection when you meet these people in person. Because I love the Teen Titans show. It was really underrated. I wish they didn't go to Teen Titans Go. That was a sort of kidsy element of that show, because they had a great thing going. The one thing Disney still has is their repertoire of animated series, and the Teen Titans was certainly on one of the top ones, along with Justice League. And Tara Stone did an outstanding job with that particular character. Next, this is a personal favorite for me. This is the reason I went in the first place. Being a Star Trek person, I've had to meet this particular person here. I think most people might know who he is. That is William Shatner, very young and handsome William Shatner on the bridge of the Enterprise in the original set. He was there at the con. Now, he's 92 years old. And I wasn't certain what to expect when I saw him, but to my great surprise and everyone's surprise, he is, at his age, extremely energetic, extremely coherent. I got my picture with him. This is a proud moment that I had with him. Now, when I took this picture here, because he's such a popular character, you have to move very quickly. I was one of the first in line to get his picture, and he's backstage, and there are three people, the camera lady and the two other women who are coordinating the whole thing. Mr. Shatner showed his professionalism and his ability to act. He started saying, well, you do this and you give me this cue to move on to the next person, that sort of thing. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm watching William Shatner's acting ability right here, right now. It was just for a few moments, but it was well worth the money, well worth the wait. And that is a picture that I'll treasure for a long, long time. As a comic collector, there are two entities that have made the most influence on me. Marvel Comics was certainly one, and I met Stan Lee years ago. Perhaps I'll show a picture of myself and my daughters with him in a future episode. But Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek, had also an equally, if not more so, influence on myself regarding science fiction and everything, how I see the world. It was really, really a beautiful, I don't want to use a terrible pun and say it was way ahead of its time. It was just a fantastic show. Great actors, and it was a real gem. And what a special moment it was for me to see Mr. Shatner. Now, other things. Again, we've been to other cons before, and most cons are good. Some are a little dicey, but this was one of the best ones we had. And the reason why was not just the pleasant people we talked to rather. While we're in line with Mr. Shatner, a woman comes up and she says her husband doesn't like this poster, and he doesn't want to go to waste. And would you like it? And we looked at it and we said, sure. I mean, it was very, very gracious for them to give this, and very, very thoughtful. This was the poster right here. It was a picture of Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk on a planet with the Gorn, and I had Mr. Shatner autograph that. Now I was going to have Bill Shatner autograph a couple of comics, and I'll show one in a few moments here. And I had, but my daughter said, let's have him sign that, and she was correct, because that's a beautiful signature. And the cool thing about this was, one, it's a keepsake, but two, there was a booth that I wasn't aware of. I think I've heard of it, but I wasn't aware of how prominent they are. A company called JSA, and it's James Spencer Authentication Company, and they will authorize or authenticate anything that's there for obvious reasons. Very much like CGC will authenticate a signature on the fly, because they're there to witness this. So these are great things. If you see a JSA booth, do yourself a favor and actually put some money down towards the authentication, because it's certainly worth it. With fraudulent signatures and so forth, you want to have some backing, and JSA is a very, very respected company. So again, I'm sold. Again, thanks so much for my daughter for pointing this out. I wouldn't have known. But for those that also don't know, I'm giving my recommendation to this company to get any autograph certified, because you need as much certification as possible these days. Let's move on to our picks of the week. And my picks of the week, because again, a few things before I get to the picks. I have a lot of friends in the comic community, and they are buying and selling, and the selling element is almost run dry. They're saying that their sales on Whatnot, sales on eBay, even individual sales, they have their own little online presence, have all taken a very, very serious hit. Sales are down 70 to 80% from what I'm hearing. So again, speculation is on pause. Let's wait and see what the MCU does, what the DCU does. So let's give some time to get things going. But the other element that they have, the other problem they have, is ticket sales at the box office across the board are way, way down. So I'm just going to continue to show you the picks that I pick up. And if it strikes you, you can look for a similar deal. But everything I find is on a deal. So let's begin here with this very first one. Oh, this is something you can buy, by the way, at the Fan Expo. We were VIP, so they gave us two things for a VIP, and it's this one here. This is a facsimile. It's an homage cover to Fantastic Four 52, the first appearance of the Black Panther, which I do have an original copy. But to the right, though, is something I've never seen before. It says it's approved by the Wakanda Code Authority. I thought that was very, very cool. And on the back of it, it says Fan Expo on the back of the comic, so you could perhaps buy these on your own if you check out fanexpo.com and see what's available. I'm almost afraid to open it because there's this specialized sticker on the back. So anybody in the chat, if you know about this, that sticker right there, should I leave that alone or should I open the comic? Because normally I put this in, because they put it in a backing board that isn't acid-free. I would put this in Mylar and in an acid-free backing board, but I'd have to disturb that stamp. So anybody, if you've dealt with this before, please let me know, because I need it for my own education, because if not, I'll just leave it as is. The other thing we got was this here, and this is Action Comics #1. It's sealed in a bag. And again, questions to the chat. Have you seen anything like this? Because according to the left is the front of the comic, on the back and to the right is a description of the variety of variant covers that it comes with that. So you never know until you open the comic, or you open the plastic bag, by the way. Do you leave it closed? Do you open it up and see what you have? Is one of those variants more expensive than the other? So again, I'm reaching out to the community to educate me to see, what I should do with this thing. But it was very, very cool to have. Next, we have this here. We almost threw this away, but this almost went to the wayside. They gave us this very, very cool poster. And excuse me, it's a poster of mostly the Teen Titans, and they threw in the Flash and Wonder Woman on that cover. But I took that opportunity to get Tara Stone's signature Raven on there, because I love the Teen Titans series. So what I want to do is get every voice actor that I can and have that as a cool poster. Again, it was a giveaway, but I thought it was very, very cool. These are the kind of cool little freebies that give you at these fan expos here. So again, don't dismiss them at hand. If it's something cool or something you could make use of that you either want to sell or simply keep in your collection, go ahead and do just that. Next, we have some of my pickups that I got at the con here. My daughter and I both got an issue of we found there were several, by the way, comic dealers. And we both fell in love with these here. These are my copies here. My daughter got higher grades of these. That's Amazing Spider-Man #60. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous Kingpin cover with Spider-Man dealing with one of his arch enemies. And it's a pretty high. Well, it's higher than average grade. It's difficult to get those dark labels, especially the black label, black cover rather, without any issues. But that's any problems rather. That's a pretty one there, and it's very, very crisp. And to the right is Spider-Man #98, classic Green Goblin story. These are both John Romita covers. You can't go wrong with any of the Spider-Man comics. They're so hot. I think they will be for some time. And with the prices coming down, I think I only paid $15 each for those. I think that was an absolute steal. I really do. And especially since when you have to go to a con and they're paying money for their tables, I did find some deals, but you do have to look, and you do have to go to these cons, because some of the people that I talked to said they will only go to cons, or one guy said he was a weekend warrior. There's no online presence. You just have to find them when they're there. Next, I picked up. That was the first one that I'd seen. That is Avengers #5. That was missing in my collection. That's not a bad grade. That's probably a 3.5 or a 4. The asking price was $200, which I thought was a very fair price given the caliber and the condition of that particular comic. Again, you have to be there at the right place at the right time. Some people have a strategy when they go to a con. They'll start looking around the room and assessing out what's what, because let's say you bought that and then you find a prettier grade that's for less money, which does happen. In my particular case, I decided to buy it sight unseen. I'm like, I liked it. I had the guy open it up for me. I thought, I'm not going to complain about this deal. That Avengers 5 went for, like many of the other Grail comics, 4 to 5 times that for that particular condition. So $200 was a great deal. Now to the right, this is a book I've had before, and this was a gift by my good friend Nowhere Bound. Nowhere Bound, I could not have done this without you. He won a gift on another show that I sponsor, and he picked that up for me. I mean, I couldn't thank him enough for that. And I thought that's the perfect comic. That's Star Trek #1 from 1967, the first appearance of Star Trek in comic books. And to the bottom right, you can see the image of William Shatner and George Takei, Mr. Sulu. That was obviously something I wanted to have him sign, which Mr. Shatner was delighted to do so. I do have a signature of George Takei. He's still making the rounds. So while he's still alive and well, another very nice, very pleasant man, by the way. I'll have him sign that if I can find him. But again, shout out to Nowhere Bound. Thank you so much, my friend. That will be something that I will never, ever part with for any reason whatsoever. Next, these are some of the. Did I get to the eBay purchases? I think I'm trying to remember which I bought, which I got from. Oh no, that's an eBay purchase. This is the last one we have here. This is Fantastic Four number 243. That's a newsstand edition, but that is a 9.6 white pages, and that is the Galactus versus everyone. That's a John Byrne cover. Actually, John Byrne basically did the entire comic. It was artwork. He did the cover, and he did the storyline on this one. This I paid a mere $100 for. As you can tell, it's a very high grade, not a 9.8, but I don't care. It's absolutely gorgeous. And with the Fantastic Four on its way, even other shows are profiling the Fantastic Four 48, 49, and 50, which I do have. Those have moved up rapidly because there's more and more anticipation now that the movie is coming together. This was extremely reasonably priced. You can find these again if you look hard enough. And there's a few others that I'll profile in the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, again, now's a good time to sort of reassess your collection, reassess your finances, because again, the economy is bad and getting worse. Regarding the recovery of the comic market, that's very much up in the air. Now's a good time again to assess your collection. Read comics, because I'm years and years behind on reading the comics. That's the fun part about this. There's so many issues we'll talk about in the next episode that may tie into future stories for the MCU. And we'll as soon as I read them, I shouldn't make any mention until I actually have that information in my head. But again, it's hopefully, given the difficulties of next year, I think we can still enjoy the hobby. I think we can still have a lot of fun, and more importantly, contribute to your LCSs, and again, stay together as a community, because this is a wonderful comic book community. I fell in love with it, which is why I do what I do, and I can't thank everyone for their support, especially my good friend Ian. Ian, I love you, my brother. You are the one that puts this whole thing together. It means so much to me to be on this show, and I can't thank you enough. Everyone, thanks for joining. For the Ian Hoodrat Network, I'm Dan Delatorre, and this is Comic Book Corner.